And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It's Frankly Football in the building. I am your humble host, Brandon, and I got my man, Honey Boy, with me. It's Set It Off Chris in the building. How you doing, Chris?
Hey, man, chilling, man. Couple weeks off, man. You know how we get down, man, because we're so busy, but we never stop talking and collabing and, reaching out at other places to keep our fingers in this YouTube world, man, about these Dallas Cowboys and this NFL football that we know and love, man. Great to spend time with you tonight, though, bro. Great to spend time.
Yes, sir. So, Chris, draft season is among us. I think the draft is just slightly over 2 weeks away now. We're recording this on the 12th, so it's like 2 weeks and 2 days away. So, we in the thick of it. We are here to really dive into draft talk. And I think that for the next couple of weeks, we're going to be probably strictly on draft talk unless we really get some big news.
Last year this time we were in the thick of it. I mean, we were in the weeds, and I think I can speak for me. I got hurt because when we get into this, we figure like our thoughts, our suggestions, what we're seeing, the scouts for the Dallas Cowboys are seeing, and when a pick that we see is there doesn't happen, aka Rashawn Slater sitting right there for you to take and to solidify your offensive line, it cuts you to your core. We both know we had no idea that Michael Parsons was going to be who Michael Parsons is.
Absolutely.
So,
hindsight is 2020.
Oh, man, hindsight is crystal clear because you got to sit back right now and say, between Slater and Parsons, where we feel if their year two jump is the way we think it's going to be, man, we looking at guys that may one day might be up in Canton, Ohio, man, doing an acceptance speech, man, because both of those guys are outstanding players and destined to be superstars in the NFL.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. So, being how the last 2 years were so chock full of talent, sadly enough, the 2022 class, not as much. There are plenty of great guys. But I think that in 2020 and 2021, we were spoiled, man. Definitely spoiled to where you can get a guy like Jabril Cox, who, in my opinion, was the best cover linebacker in the draft in the 4th round. You may not have a caliber of guy like that, waiting for you this year. You feel where I'm coming from?
I think what happens is, like you said, we are spoiled because it wasn't as quarterback heavy as it was in years before. In 2020, you turned around, you had a Chase Young, and you had a lot of quarterbacks come out that made, you had the Tua Tagovailoas, and you had the Justin Herberts, come out. And then last year, you had guys like Justin Fields come out, and all the things behind those quarterbacks. And so you're sitting now this year with no premium quarterback that anybody's talking about being in the first round. The dynamic defensive players are all from one school, it almost seems like. And you don't have that offensive tackle that's like plug and play all world that you're just like enamored about. So it takes a little bit of fizzle off the draft. But what this draft does have is a premium on 2nd, 3rd, and 4th round, 5th round players. There are going to be some guys that are going to be selected in the 3rd and 4th round who are 2nd and 3rd round, have 1st, 2nd, and maybe 3rd round grades. So a guy who should be a 1st rounder is going to be in the 2nd rounder. A guy who's going to be in the 2nd round, he's going to be a 3rd rounder, and so on and so forth. So it's a deep draft for a team that's got some pieces in place to build a team. And as you and I both know, there's a lot of holes to fill down there in Frisco. So we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely, man. I think that a lot of that can be attributed to teams sucking at drafting. So you can have guys who may who should be drafted in the 1st round. They can fall to day 2.
Right.
But yeah, man, I just think that when you talk about premier quarterbacks, I think that the biggest name this year may be Malik Willis out of Liberty. There isn't really a Jamar Chase this year in regards to wide receiver. There are plenty of good guys, but I don't think that there's a Jamar Chase this year. So you'll have that lack of explosive name or talent at a few positions. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have a Jamar Chase. I don't think you have a CD Lamb. I don't think you have a Justin Jefferson. But you got some skill guys on the outside. Barring injury, there's two guys right now, barring injury. If they weren't injured, they'd be higher up the board than they are right now. And it's some guys out there. And I think because of the way the NFL is going to 3 and 4 wide receiver sets, there's a chance for you to get a really, really good guy from some different areas. So we're going to kind of dive into it. My first thing is, what do you think the Cowboys' biggest hole they need to fill in the draft? Wait a minute. So, here's my first question. Do you think they need to fill some more holes pre-draft? Our buddy, our friend, Skywalker Still did a show this week, and he named a couple people he wanted to bring in before the draft, hoping that, Stephen Jones would kind of wake out of the stupor that he's in about not using this extra money he has and talk about them. So do you think there's any position that you, Brandon, my main man, football guru, would fill before the draft? Name one. And with who?
So I'm kind of conditioned at this point to not really expect Dallas to bring any more guys in. Now, do I think that they should bring in another guard just in case they don't get Zion Johnson and Kenyon Green? Absolutely, because I think that offensive line is probably the biggest need on the team right now. Lyle Collins and Connor Williams are no longer on the team. So I think that if there was a need if there was one position group that the team would be obligated to fill, I think that it would be on the offensive line with their first or second pick. But I also believe that, the house is built from the foundation up, Now, I think that would be the only area where there's a distinct need. I wouldn't feel the need. I wouldn't feel compelled to bring in another wide receiver pre-draft because I like James Washington. I like CD Lamb. Michael Gallup won't be available for the first quarter of the season, but I like Michael Gallup.
Okay.
So do I think that they should feel compelled to bring in another guy before the draft? No, you can, draft the best player available at some point. Whether it's day 2, if it's the best player available day 1, draft a guy and ride into the sunset. I think that the manner in which the team has positioned themselves allows them to draft the best player available at every single pick. And I think that they have 9 picks. They can do so and feel satisfied with what they've done. Okay.
I'm gonna buff it against that. I think you need.
What you got?
I think if I look into my different rooms, right? So if I look into my quarterback room, I'm fine with my quarterback room. I got Rain Dakota Prescott. I got Cooper Rush, who's got a win in the NFL. Push come to shove, if I lose my starting quarterback for more than 5 to 6 games, my season is gone anyway. So I'm not sweating that. My running back room is fully loaded because I got 2 guys who need to show their talents off to the NFL because they probably won't be gainfully employed with the Cowboys in 2023.
Let me stop you while you're on running backs. Here's the thing, Chris. Normally, I would say that running back is a position that I would not feel compelled to draft this year. But think about it like this. Both Zeke and Tony are probably going to leave the team at the same time. Maybe not necessarily by choice, but Zeke's contract, the guaranteed money, is going to be out. And then Tony's contract, his rookie deal, is going to be out at the exact same time. So they may be on to greener pastures or onto riding out into the sunset, at the exact same time. So would you
Right.
feel compelled to draft a running back?
Absolutely not. Not until at least the fourth or fifth round.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going back to my premise, because I have seen other teams, San Francisco, turn around and get guys in the fifth and sixth rounds and convert guys if my base of my offense is sturdy and and above average.
Mm-hmm.
So running back room's good. My wide receiver rooms, I got some questions. Yes. Do I think James Washington can play in the NFL? Absolutely. Do I think he's absolutely one-dimensional? Yes. Do I
Mm-hmm.
believe they should have picked up Malik Turner and brought him back? Without question. But they
Mm-hmm.
didn't. So I walk into my wide receiver room. I do have a wide receiver one because we have been saying for the last 2 years, you got two number ones. You really got two number ones and a one B with Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup. Well, now you just have a number one and you got a number two that's coming off injury who I don't expect to see until week 10. I don't care what nobody says. I love medical science. I don't expect to see him back until week 8 or week 10 to be full speed of who he is. So if I had an opportunity to go out and get a guy and I hadn't thought about him at all, I would go get a guy pre-draft in the wide receiver room. And I would also go get the best guard on the market that's out here right now. But right now they let everything dry up. Will Hernandez was out there. I think you talked about him. He's on the team. And just go get a guy we can bring in and find out that we know if push comes to shove, if we don't get, as you said, a Zion Johnson or a Kenyon Green, out the gate, we're not worried about the guard position, because I truly believe we in Dallas make legends out of guys who are just good players.
I agree.
I think, yep.
I think that the fan base can be persuaded to overvalue their draft picks. Now, for what it's worth, I think that our team does draft better than 95% of the teams in the league. I think that Will McClay is extremely good at his job.
I think he's great. Yeah, I think he's great at his job. I think we draft very, very well. But I think we also have a vision of people being better than what we were. See, here's the problem. And just follow me on this. And me and you both did a deep dive on this.
Yes.
We thought almost 3 years back, right, that the weakest link on our offensive line was where? Where do you think it was?
2 or 3 years back. Is Terrence Steele on this team?
No, he's not on the team at the time.
Okay. Weakest link on this team might have been Connor Williams at that point.
No, sir. It was not. It was Joe Looney.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember that.
See? So Joe Looney was the weakest link, right?
Yes.
We could not get Joe off of this team fast enough. Jolly Joe, man of God, love all that, football player, limited. Travis gets hurt. Travis goes and leaves the team. Joe's there, and we know Joe's terrible because still to this day we remember Ndamukong Suh picking him up like a baby and putting him in the stroller. So we fast forward 2 years now, and everybody wants to get rid of Tyler Biadasz. Everybody, the majority of people think, hey, if Tyler Linderbaum is sitting there at 24, trade the farm, go get Tyler Linderbaum. I am under the persuasion that Tyler Biadasz can still play quality level center in the NFL. You just got to go get him better bookends at guard. I just think Travis Frederick was a really, really good player surrounded by great players, and that elevated him from a really good player to a great player.
I agree. Now, for what it's worth, I think that center is not a spot where you want to be weak at. But I do think that I would be more inclined to address the need at guard well before the need at center this
Boom.
year.
So even though Tyler Linderbaum may be a better prospect than a 5th round guy from Wisconsin that was one of the top centers in the country and coming off injury, and in 2020 not having the opportunity to get into the weight room and get the magical peanut butter full-fledged like he would have gotten, that his year 3 is really his show and prove year, and that he can make that jump. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I 100% agree.
Okay. So in my center room, I need to improve. My other area I need to improve. I have to improve in my defensive tackle room. My defensive tackle room is limited. If I look into my defensive tackle room right now, I got Big Bo. I got Quentin Bohanna.
Okay.
I got, as a 1 tech, Quentin Bohanna is my 1 tech, right? And then I have my homie Trigger Trey, Tristan Hill, right?
He might not make this team, man. He might not make this team.
Hey, unless you go get somebody better, because you got Trigger Trey, you got Neville Gallimore, you got Osa Digizua, and you got Quentin Bohanna. Name the other guy.
Austin Foaliu. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name, but he's
whatever. Oh, okay. So I need an upgrade in my defensive tackle room, right?
Okay.
My edges are pretty good right now as I live and breathe. I've got DeMarcus Lawrence, right?
Yep.
I got DeMarcus Lawrence. I got Dorrance Armstrong.
Yep.
I got Dante Fowler. And in a spot duty, I got Michael Parsons.
Yeah. There's also
my bad. Chauncey Golson. I disrespected Chauncey. So those are my boys. And Terrell Bass. So my end room is not as bad as the whole world thinks. My linebacking core is where I have questions at, because I only have Micah, I have LVE, and I have Jabril Cox coming off injury, which he will be the guy I'm looking to see back by September because he got hurt so early. So he needs to be back. But I'm light there. My secondary is fine.
So here's the thing. I wanna address this before you get off of linebacker. Do you remember a few years back when Jeff Heath was on this team?
Do I remember when the GOAT Jeff Heath? I always remember when the GOAT was here.
So here's the thing, Chris. Jeff Heath being on the team a few years ago, you could always gauge a position by knowing if they were good enough to get Jeff Heath off of the team. You know, so now I'm gauging linebacker. I'm gauging linebacker to know if they are good enough to get Francis Bernard off of this team, because Francis Bernard is still on this team. They gave him the exclusive rights tag. So I'm not going to say the linebacker is good enough, because they have this pet cat relationship with Francis Bernard. And you know, so I would say that you absolutely need to take a guy, maybe even 2. And if they're not good enough to get Francis off of this team, then the issue isn't resolved yet.
Okay, I'll give you that. Okay, so Francis Bernard is the guy in the room who you're wearing. If he's still on the team, then we haven't improved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That should be funny. That's another segment. That's another show. That's another video. But I give you that. So walking into the draft right now, who's your pet cat? Give it to me. That if he is picked, if he is selected by our Dallas Cowboys, you will sit and pat yourself on the back. We had 2 pet cats last year that we wanted to see on this football team, and you know, by the grace of God, and by the picking of Stephen Jerry and Will McClay, I ain't giving Stephen no credit, because that dude got money in his pocket and he won't spend it. Got him on here. When Kelvin Joseph was selected, man, we was through the roof. Man, we was blowing each other's phone up, man. Absolutely. And then we got Jabril Cox. We thought we was junior GMs at that point. Now the rest of the time, there's some guys who were like, who the heck is that? What is an Osa Diggy? Was it? We didn't know who half of these cats were. But I think this year, because we had to dive a little bit deeper or kind of give an idea of looking at some phrase and some areas we're looking at, I think might be a little bit clearer. But those were our two pet cats last year. Who's your pet cat this year?
So offensively, I have two. I feel like, and then I can give you at least one on defense as well. So I feel like every single year you can get at least one offensive weapon from Memphis. And this year it's Calvin Austin III. He is extremely versatile. And you know, he a tiny dude, but he might be the best player at like 5 foot small and 100 and tiny pounds.
Yeah.
That you would have, you know.
Hey man, you got infatuation for little dudes, man. Let's not forget.
But
I mean, you know, and you're not a little dude,
watch the film, though. Yeah, I'm 6 foot 225, man. I'm a pretty big dude, man.
But you got a lot of love for the guys who hitting the 5'8", 5'9" syndrome, man. The Napoleon guys.
He put up impressive numbers at his combine.
Okay.
And he averaged like 7 yards of reception in college last year. So if you want to replace the versatility that you lost in Cedric Wilson, Calvin Austin might be your guy.
Okay.
Because I think that I am of the opinion that and you know that I did have a soft spot for Cedric because of what he allowed prior to Carson Wentz coming into the NFC East. I was of the thought that Cedric Wilson was the second best quarterback in the NFC East. But Calvin Austin has a versatility that I think that this team, you know, desperately needs. And, you know, Kellen wasn't afraid to, you know, get cute with his plays once or twice a game. If you have a player that, you know, you can get cute with, you know, I think that he'll do it more.
Okay.
Now, my second pet cat on offense, Jelani Woods, man. You cannot teach genetics. You say that I got an affinity for small dudes. Well, this is the exact opposite. If you're talking about one end of the spectrum, this is the exact other end.
He is the
other end. You can't even see my hands on the camera right now. That's how the opposite end of the spectrum this is.
Indeed. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay.
You can teach a dude how to play football. Jelani Woods, you remember Rico Gathers? He kind of like had like he was like the new hotness for Cowboys fans. I was one of those people.
I know you were
a lot. Man. I like Rico a lot. Now imagine Rico, except he kind of knows how to play football, except he do it a little sloppy. And he bigger than everybody, and also a little bit leaner because you remember Rico kind of put on a little weight.
Because he's out there rapping. You know, he's out there grabbing the microphone.
They also tried to make him block, and sometimes you got to just let guys do what they do, and I think that that's neither here nor there. But,
okay.
But Jelani Woods is going to be a steal for someone in the 3rd round, and I think that due to Dallas picking late every single round, I kind of regard those picks as like technically a round later than what they are. So I wouldn't be scared picking them with like what is out there around pick number 88, I think it is.
88, I think 88, yep.
So you know that's close enough to the 4th round where I would not feel bad picking them.
You wouldn't feel bad.
Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad picking them at 88 because if you try to wait until 121, he ain't gonna be there. He's not gonna be there.
Right. And I think what ends up happening. I like that with Jelani. Okay, go ahead. That's all you got on it? No, you two? Offensively. Those are 2 pet cats on offense?
Those are my 2 pet cats offensively. Pet cats defensively. I like Leo Chenal, man. He can thrive in man blitz. And he gives me kind of a I don't want to say it. I don't even want to say it.
Don't. Hey, listen. We're gonna have a rule here. We're gonna have a safe word. We're gonna have a safe word here. And the safe word is gonna be here is Flaming Hot Cheetos. Because I think you was about to call this dude somebody, Piker Morrison. I think you were gonna kind of. I think you was gonna
right here, man.
You was gonna go there and see you. We have got to get off of that train of saying, "Hey, that guy's next year."
He was a hair under him. He was a hair under him for what it's worth.
Listen. When you 6'3", you 240, and you run like that dude runs, he does not show up every year.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You remember when Simmons came out of Clemson?
Yes.
Right. We had never seen that.
Mm-hmm.
We had not seen a guy that big, that athletic, run around and do something, right? He was like the pre-genesis to what we saw with Micah. Yes. And then when we saw Micah last year, we have never seen that again. We have never seen that. Micah is on the and Simmons came in not being able to get on the field and do hardly anything. Micah came in day one, was ready to go. Yes. Micah came into a situation where he was able to bolt on the scene and learn and be the sponge he is. And with the addition of quality picking by Will McClain and getting J-Ron Curse and getting that green dot off of him, gave him the ability to just go be Bobby Boucher. He could just go run and go tackle and just go make plays without having to dissect everything as a rookie. I think he'll be better. He'll be better this year about seeing stuff and recognizing. And then year 3, he turns into the absolute monster we all believe he can be.
Absolutely.
But now, go back to your guy as your pet cat.
Here's my thing. With Shenault, he probably won't be available at 58. Now
where's Shenault play at?
He played for Wisconsin, and he didn't really play too much in space, man. He didn't really play too much in space. Well, in coverage, I should say. And he kind of played very, very high, very tall in space. Kind of like he wasn't
like a guy who we nicknamed the Wolf Hunter a couple years ago, playing tough. Yeah. So okay, go ahead.
But they also allowed him to kind of freelance a little bit in this game. So if you get him in an NFL locker room with a lot of structure, he might be able to, get his head in the game a little bit more and become very laser focused.
Okay.
I'm reading my notes right now.
I
watch a lot of film, man. I watch a lot of film.
That's good.
So I think that, if you get a scheme that, can kind of do what we utilize right now with Micah, get him like 50-50 and like a blitzer and coverage, split those duties and give him a dedicated thing to do, he'll be okay.
Those guys don't fall off trees like that. That dude is different. So I like
Neil Shenault, man. I like him. But if he is available at 58, I would run to the podium. But I don't think he will be. I think he'll probably go at the top of the second. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes like 32 or 33.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, okay.
No, well, listen, who are yours? Please give me yours.
I'm going to channel my my inner Ohio State, as you can see from my shirt. Mm-hmm. I'm channeling my Ohio State. And my pet cat this year, so everyone understands, my son's a pretty good football player. One of the top 125 in the country. So I have an infatuation with wide receivers now, because I'm always looking at a one Chris Olave, wide receiver out of Ohio State. And he kind of burst on the scene.
You muted yourself, Chris.
And they won when they had Justin Fields there. And then the next year, he had a running partner who's even better than him. But for my football team, I want to be able to get another guy who stretches the field with speed. I haven't had a flat out burner on this football team since Rocket Ishmael. I'm talking about a guy. Yeah, see, a guy who can really take the top off, and that's why I love Chris Olave. And because everybody else who I would love to have is injured. Because if I had a competent front office, I could probably take one of these injured guys, maybe in the second or third round, and stash him, and then maybe move on from another wide receiver the next year. But that's a whole different thing. Let me not digress. But that's my pet cat. Chris Olave is my pet cat. My second pet cat is by far to help me keep unleashing Micah Parsons on the NFL. And the one thing we have not had since Leroy Glover is a dominant one tech. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it to you like this. We had LeRon Glover. Then as you went through the years, you had 1 or 2 years of Jay Ratliff, right? Yeah. You had one season with Jason Hack in an absolute monster. Can you hear me, my guy?
Yes, I can.
And then turned around. That's been it. So my goal and my desire is to bring the D tackle from Georgia, man. Can I get Jordan Davis at 24?
That's gonna be rough, man.
Can I break the mold? Can I break the mold of having a D tackle who can go make plays and progress and be a disruptor that is a space eater who's pushing the pocket, and then Michael Parsons being able to run free all over the field? Jordan Davis is my pet cat.
I love it. If Jordan Davis were available, so like I said, best player available, turn the card in. If Jordan Davis were available at 24, I would run the card in because he would more than likely be the best player available at the position. I kind of feel the same way about Devonta Wyatt because he's like Jordan Davis, but not Jordan Davis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Listen, see, that's why my second pet cat in the second round is Devonta Wyatt.
Yeah.
See, so my thing is like, if I could turn around at
Devonta Wyatt is going to go in the first round, though. He's likely going to go in. Both of them are amazing.
Okay.
Both of them are amazing. Whoever lets him fall to the second round, I would roll my eyes immensely.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I could trade down and get 32 and get one of my pet cats, like if I could turn around and get through the first round and be at 32, I'd probably try to give up what I could to get to 32 because I think getting an extra second round pick this year, an extra second, an extra third, is everything to helping the Cowboys this year. Because you're leaning so much on top 100 talent to be able to field your football team because you don't want to exercise the third and most crucial component of team building in free agency.
Yeah.
You're leaning on top 100 talent to come and play day one because you don't utilize that component.
I agree. So you gotta have as many of those premier draft picks as possible. I 100% agree. But is that worth it to possibly give up one of those premier offensive linemen to move back that far? Because we've already established that there is a need in offensive line.
I think if here's the question: is the fall off from D tackle that big a drop that if you don't get Jordan Davis or Devonta Wyatt, the third guy is that big of a chasm compared to if you don't get Kenyon Green, you don't get Zion Johnson, and then the next guy. Is Cole Strange that big of a drop off from those two guys at left guard?
That's a great question. Because who would probably be the third guy? Maybe Dylan Parham, Cole Strange, like you said, Ed Ingram. I forgot about Ed Ingram.
Right.
You do have to kind of play you do kind of got to weigh the scales there a little bit. And yeah, like you said, those Georgia D tackles, both of them are amazing. So we kind of got our pet cats established there. Do you think that is trading up something that you would be willing to do this year? We talk about trading down a lot, but we got a lot of fifths this year. We got 4 fifth-round picks this year. It's trading up.
Those 4 fifth-rounders are virtually, absolutely, without question, worthless.
Mm-hmm.
In our history of drafting in the 5th round, the best 5th rounder we've probably ever had on this football team that's given us any longevity is Joseph Randle.
Ouch. Ouch. Okay, so you be willing to parlay with those?
Huh?
You'd be willing to work with those if it means moving up, let's say in the 3rd or the 4th.
My question goes, if you know in the 5th round, like we can't name a guy notable in the 5th round outside of Tyler Biadasz that gets that kind of work that makes your football team. It makes in our organization. Now, in other organizations, you've had guys who've been 5th rounders and been players, but in our organization, we've whiffed in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
We've whiffed. So the question is, how many points or how much value does that 5th give you? Can you swap somebody's 5th and try to move up in the 4th? My thing is that you want to stay up in the top 100 to top 125 players. Matter of fact, top 200 players to make your football team and do work. You know what I'm saying? 4th rounders on your football team. I mean, let's think, what's the most notable 4th rounder you've had? Randy Dakota Prescott
last year.
You looking for work from Jabril Cox?
Yes.
You know, you don't get a lot of work after that 3rd round that does production in this organization. I don't know what that is. So if I can package up a couple of those and move back into the 4th round, maybe take one of those 4th rounds and get me an extra 3rd, that's what you're trying to do. But I don't think you have holes. I don't think you have 9 holes on this football team that those 9 picks that you pull this year are going to get clocked and burned this year to make you that much better.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm willing to take all 5 of those if I can move back up and get into the 4th.
Okay.
You know, that's my feeling.
Okay, gotcha. Are you drafting a kicker?
Never.
Okay. Yeah, I don't
because here's my problem. If I draft him, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, see the thing with a kicker, man, it's so much different at this level.
And I don't watch kicker film for what it's worth. So, you know.
I know you don't. Nobody does. But you know what you do? We look at a kicker. When you lose 3 games by less than 8 points.
Yeah.
When you lose 3 games by a total of 8 points, you look at your kicker. You know when you look at your kicker is on opening night when you got the defending champs on the ropes in their building and you need a field goal and a joker to kick an extra point and you win. Huh? You know when you look at your kicker? Huh? Hey, you know, I don't want to bring up bad memories. It's you know, it's late at night. We talking. But that's what you're looking at. You're looking at, can you find the best kicker out there? When you don't start looking at your kicker is when you see a kicker in Cincinnati go perfect in the postseason, and you look and say, dang, I wish my kicker could go like that. So yeah, you kind of rolling the dice, and you still trying to find out what Kai Forbath did to not get a call back to the Dallas Cowboys. But I'm still not drafting one at all.
Yeah, man, I feel like kickers aren't drafted enough to the point where the ones that you like, you can probably get them undrafted, you know?
I mean, it's the deal. It's one of the most important positions on the team. It's one of the most overlooked football position, overlooked, most important, carries more blame and gets more adulation if they can do it, but they low on the totem pole.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like there will always be a larger need.
Without question. Without question. But yo, man, we got pet cats. We talking about drafting kickers. We got folks what we need. But what we need more than anything is we need likes, man.
Yeah.
We need subs and we need comments, man. You know, we took the 2 weeks off. We're gonna be a little bit more fast and furious because we're getting close to the draft. But we need you to interact with us, man. So listen, if you've been with us this far inside the video, hit the like button, man. If you're not going this far, man, make sure you subscribe so you can know when we put content like this out, you know, for the masses. And more important, man, we need the comments, man. We are Frankly Football, man. We are here for you. And man, I am with my main man, BH, man, the Thanos of the YouTube world, man. And I'm your man, Set It Off Chris. And as always, we're Frankly Football, man.
Peace.
Peace.